Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick guide on how to use the Anomaly in set 13. So we're going to cover what they are, what units to put them on, and whether you should re-roll your Anomalies. So Anomalies are the new set mechanic of set 13 into the Arcane, and they're essentially a way to evolve one of your units, your key units at that. And it is offered on stage 4-6, which is right before the last component neutral round, or the Raptor Camp as people like to call them. And you can drag one of your units into the center of the map. There will be like a anomaly square there where you could see and choose an upgrade for them. You can also re-roll your anomaly if you do not like it for 1 gold, and you could do this forever. So I think there are 60 anomalies, so if you have 60 gold, you could technically go for any anomaly that you want. But generally speaking, people put this on the unit that's the most critical to their comp, which is going to be their primary carry. However, since the game is perfectly balanced, using an anomaly on a unit that is not your primary carry should also be viable. For example, you could use it on your primary tank or even your secondary carry if you need to save gold and cannot roll too hard. For example, if you have an attack damage carry as your primary damage dealer, a main tank, and an AP carry as a secondary, and an AP anomaly shows up, you don't have much gold, sometimes you just have to take the AP anomaly. But if you do have gold to spare, perhaps you should look for something for your primary carry or your tank. I actually think tank anomalies are going to be OP in this set because most people, it's going to feel better to take a damage anomaly. So in order to compensate for that, the balance team might buff up the tank ones to encourage that behavior a little bit more. It's just a theory that I have, but you should essentially always pick your anomaly based on what your team needs. TFT is all about balance. If you watch my TFT fundamentals video, you'll know that you should always be having a balance between attack and defense because you need both. If you have an aggressive trait or like an attacking trait such as Sorcerer, which gives a lot of ability power to your team, and you also have like 3 offensive augments such as like Mana Flow, Blistering Strikes, and Pumping Up, all of these things give more damage. If that's the case, you might want to use your anomaly on your main tank to get some tankiness on your team. Even if Zoe, which is a sorcerer, usually uses the anomaly in the sorcerer comp. Again, you might want to use the anomaly on your tank because you need to build a balanced team instead of going all in on offense in this case. As per usual, I'll be putting the recommended unit to use the anomaly on my website. You can see that by that little anomaly marker over here. On all of the screenshot images, I'll also write down in the notes whether there's anything more specific to that. Like sometimes you want to put it on whoever you have 2 stars. Sometimes you want to put it on whoever has more items. But it'll be updated on the meta snapshot at bunnymuffins.lol/meta throughout the entirety of the set. Speaking of anomaly usage, if you do have a tie, let's say you're playing the Enforcer comp and you have Mbessa and Vi on your team. Vi is normally the main carry of this comp because she's an Enforcer. You're really just putting in Mbessa just because she's like a random 4-cost unit. So in most cases, you want to anomaly your Vi. However, if you have a 1-star Vi and maybe not that great of items for her, but you have a 2-star Mbessa with 3 items already, maybe you just want to use the anomaly on your Mbessa instead. That way you get more immediate benefit from the anomaly since you cannot guarantee that you'll hit Vi 2-star anytime soon. We also have another example with this same exact comp. If you have the augment Martial Law, which is a trait augment between Mbessa and Caitlyn, again, you are playing Enforcers, so you might want to buff up your Vi, but there are also cases where you might want to buff up Caitlyn. If you have a champion duplicator on your bench and a 1-star Caitlyn, and you have a lot of gold, you could consider putting Caitlyn on the Anomaly Hex instead and upgrade her because once she gets a 2-star, she's going to get the most benefit from that Anomaly upgrade because she's a legendary unit. However, in most cases, you'll generally be upgrading your 4-cost units because it's very hard to guarantee a 5-cost upgrade. It really depends on what your economy is like and whether you have items on them or not. So always when you are choosing your anomaly unit, think about who is the most upgraded unit and also who has the most items usable on them. And then of course, what their cost is if they're a 4 or 5 cost unit. If you're doing a reroll comp, it's much easier. Like you just put it on your primary reroll carry. So if you're playing like Nocturne reroll, like the comp's named Nocturne reroll. If you're not putting it on your Nocturne, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Just put the anomaly on him. Next, let's talk about whether you should re-roll your anomaly. So I think you should do it more often than you think because it's a buff to your primary carry. So it's as if you are getting a perfect item on them versus an okay item on them. Obviously, if you have no gold, you don't have a lot of choice because it does cost gold to re-roll the anomaly. But in most cases, you probably should re-roll your anomaly until you get what I would consider maybe like at least an 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 anomaly for them. Like I wouldn't go for a perfect 10 out of 10 unless you really have infinite gold and you don't need to use that for anything else. But if you get like an okay anomaly or like a takeable anomaly, which I consider like a 5 out of 10, then I think you should roll a little bit to find a new anomaly. Lucky for you, most comps have a main tank and a main damage dealer, so you're not specifically looking for like only an attack damage augment if you have an attack damage carry, because you could also find one for your main tank. Assuming Riot Games did their job, most anomalies should be balanced, maybe like 90-95% plus of them will be. So hopefully we don't have to worry too much about that. But hopefully this quick little guide will help you in your journey in set 13 on how to use the anomaly, what the anomaly is, and whether you should re-roll it or not. If you do have any questions on this, do let me know down in the comments below. You can check out the full written guide on the website, bunnymuffins.lol, and then go to the guide section and click on Anomaly Guide, just in case you need to review this a little bit later. But that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.